Every time. Oh my god. Basically,
Live.
Jeopardy music cued us yesterday, for this episode. But yeah, welcome to another episode of SportsVibe here, Arnav with Andrew Rice. Episode 119 in the series. So yeah, it's a big week around sports, but these NHL and NBA, these first round series have been really heating up, and as usual, we're gonna bring the best around the first round to you. We'll talk some baseball, preview some second round series, as a lot of the second round. I think for hockey starting tonight. Actually, the Flyers Hurricanes in action. A lot of the first round series are over. In the NBA, though, I mean, the Eastern Conference has three series that are going to Game Sevens between today and tomorrow, which I mean should be really entertaining. And the semifinals a couple series are already set as well. So I mean I don't know, we'll get into it. I mean all these series and both sides of sports, I mean, they've just been really interesting. Like I mean there's just like, yeah, just a lot going on, honestly. So I guess we might as well just start diving into it. I mean, I think as usual we'll start over on the NBA side, go over to the Stanley Cup. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's been like a single, well, except for maybe like the Suns versus the Thunder. Maybe we could start there because I mean that was kind of like the one dull series I think that we had. It was just a 4-0 sweep. The Suns never really stood a chance. There were a couple closer games in the series, but I don't know. The Thunder are just like very, they're just overpowering, I guess is what you want to say. Not really. Yeah, I mean, especially what I mean. SGA. I mean, playing. What I mean. The way they have. I guess what frustrates me about the Thunder is that it's like the foul baiting, and it's not only Shea, it's just like the way that they still try to draw fouls sometimes. And the Suns are like a very physical team, and I don't know, just seeing the contrast in that, like the flop thing, sometimes it does kind of get on my nerves a little bit, like especially when they don't have to do it to win games. But at the same time, I don't know, I don't really think the Suns really stood a chance in this series anyway. And the Thunder are just like very, very good. So I mean, yeah, they're in the second round. They drew the Lakers, which actually should be a really interesting, fun series. But we'll
The
see how.
Thunder versus the Lakers.
Yeah,
Talk about,
LeBron.
the
Yeah,
most toxic team versus the most toxic fan base.
yeah, exactly. I mean, LeBron James' squad, but yeah, Thunder Suns not much to say, honestly. I don't think like it just was.
I actually do have one thing to say about Thunder Suns.
Yeah.
Boring. Like
No,
none of these games were none of these games were
no,
interesting.
it was
OKC wins by what, 20? OKC
2020.
wins by 13. OKC wins by 12. Well, OKC wins by 9. That's the only somewhat interesting game between the two. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. It was just the last couple ones were closer, I think, but still, I don't think they're ever in question. I don't know. I mean,
No.
it's just like Shea had that 42 piece game where he went, 15 for 18 from the field. That was pretty cool. I don't know. I didn't really watch much of this series at all because it was just so boring. Like, you know what I mean? It was just so
Yeah.
like, and honestly, yeah, nothing really justified doing that anyway. So I mean, you know, the rest of the series though, like, wow, there's just been like a lot to talk about. I mean, I don't even know where we, I mean, I guess that we have the Lakers, and we might as well just start on the other side with the Lakers
Actually,
Thunder,
something
with the
crazy
Lakers
about the
Rockets.
you want to
Yeah.
hear something crazy about the Suns OKC series? The Suns only won 2 quarters. Like
Wow,
they only outscored the Thunder in 2 out of the 8 quarters that were played.
that's
No,
nuts.
sorry, 2 out of the 16.
2 out of the 16.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they only did it by
Um,
like 1 point in one of them. That's
yeah,
just crazy to me.
yeah, that's
Total
crazy.
domination by the
Exactly.
Thunder.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, yeah, complete domination. The Lakers, I mean, obviously against the Thunder, I mean, I don't know. The Lakers Rocket series was interesting too, but it kind of went the very opposite direction I thought, especially with Luca and Reeves being injured. But um, I don't even know if Luca's going to be coming back for the Thunder series. I thought I saw something that he wasn't, so I was just like, well, there goes their chances if that happens. But but like yeah,
Hey,
I
you
mean
trying to say that LeBron can't? He's the goat.
that's
You,
true.
you, he can do anything he wants. He's the goat.
You're right. Um, yeah, we don't know that
I
for
don't know
sure.
about
I
that.
mean, like he might come back in for I don't know. It doesn't look like it's gonna be like soonish, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it just it's interesting. Because he got a hamstring against OKC a while ago. So I mean but anyway, I mean, the Lakers Rocket series was in not injury dominant, but it got kind of like marred because of the Austin Reeves was injured. Obviously, Luka Doncic was injured. On the other side, Kevin Durant was injured. And this I think had the biggest effect of them all because the he only played in like one game. I think game two. I mean, he was out for game one. He was out after that, and the Rockets just didn't really have. The Lakers got off to a 3-0 start. Game three was an all-time historic. Like it was a really bad choke job by the Rockets. They had a chance to win one. LeBron James obviously got the steal on the three. They fouled on another three. It was just really bad. But then the Rockets actually kind of stole momentum, or not stole momentum, but they won game four. Pretty convincingly, had a really good game there, and then game five, took it back to Los Angeles. They still won over there, 99-93. Now you're thinking, okay, this could be something. But then game six, the Lakers, they win by 20 points yesterday, so that wasn't really too much of a game. And LeBron James is still playing at such a high level, 28 points yesterday. I mean, Hachimura, Reeves was back, but again, I think the big thing is the Rockets. Yeah, they have a good squad like Thompson, Şengün, Shepard, but I mean, without like Kevin Durant, like who's supposed to be kind of the main draw, like. I don't know. It just kind of sucks. Like, you know what I mean? When you kind of like yeah, your whole team's kind of based around like one really good player, and maybe not really based on because they have other players, but well, the whole billing of that matchup was LeBron versus Kevin Durant, and the whole season kind of leads up to these playoff runs, like especially for the NBA. Like everybody lives and dies for the 7 game series. That you know what I mean? Like in 2K, people fast forward to the series and not the season. You know what I mean? It sucks when like injuries are take place in the series or before the series, and now you don't get to see that star power, and a whole season can kind of go down the drain because of that. Because the Rockets have a really good young core, but I don't know. But credit to the Lakers though for being able to pull that one out. I mean, yeah, especially with the injuries they had too, with Reeves and Luka Doncic not playing in that either, and they still won. So yeah, I mean they're moving on. They'll to face off against OKC, which should be an interesting series. Like that one has some billing to it now, because like you said, it's like the most toxic fan base versus the most toxic team. But like in a good way, like it'll have some like billing towards it, I guess. But I don't know, Lakers versus
Yeah,
Thunder sounds like a Western Conference series like you want to watch. Like you know what I mean? Like even if you hate both teams, even if you like both teams, like either way, like it just I don't know. It's like you know what I mean? Like you think of the brands, you think of the names, and then you think about how good this Thunder team is, and you think do the Lakers have a chance? So like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
yeah. I mean, I think the Lakers are always going to have a chance, because
Right.
LeBron, like you mentioned, like LeBron was still doing it at his age. He still has the ability to every once in a while just completely take over a game. He can't do it every game like he used to, you know, but
Right.
how do I put it? Like he can't do it every game that he used to, like he used to, but the possibility is still there. So you always have to give the Lakers some sort of nod their way. Make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like, you know what I mean? They not every game, but some games. Sometimes that's
Yeah.
enough. Like, I don't know. We haven't really seen the Thunder struggle yet this postseason. As we get to the later rounds, I'm sure that'll happen more and
But
more.
I
But
don't know if
like,
they're going to struggle too much anyway. They might just
they might
run
just
it
roll
back.
through everybody. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I guess by the time like we get to the Western Conference Finals, it might look a little different. But speaking of the other side, or the other confirmed series in the West, we have the Timberwolves versus the Spurs. That should be really good. But first, how did we get here? I mean, like we had I mean, we had a couple of interesting series. I mean, well, we can. I mean, obviously the Spurs dispatching the Blazers in five. I mean, that wasn't. There wasn't really too much on that series that was like could have gone the other way. But game two, I mean, the Blazers got one in San Antonio. Game three was kind of a little questionable because Wembanyama was out, and that was a real like turning point. Like, can the Blazers, take when that was the Dylan Harper game that he had 27 points, 10 rebounds, really, efficient shooting performance, 9 for 12, 4 for 5, all of that good stuff. But then yeah, I mean, after that, it was kind of, but the Spurs still, they won on the backs of the guard play, on the backs of Wembanyama, and not Wembanyama in this game, Castle and Harper. And then, then they go back to, or game four, Spurs cruise to a victory over there. This was, Wembanyama's back. De'Aaron Fox this time has a big game. And then, yeah, and then game five, obviously the closeout game in San Antonio. Very similar scoreline basically to the last one, so about 20-point wins. The Spurs are definitely rolling, moving into the next round. Yeah, I mean, like it wasn't really too exciting series, but I don't know. The Blazers made some noise. They have a nice young core, I guess. But they weren't gonna be able to keep up with a team like that, and especially with Wembanyama like healthy and everything. But the other series though is the one I wanted to get more into. The Wolves versus Nuggets series was a lot of fun for fans to watch. I mean, the Nuggets obviously took game one, but the Wolves roared back in game two. I mean, it got kind of chippy. I mean, like, with Jane McDaniels and Nikola Jokic at the end of, I think, game four, and the Wolves just proved to be a very dominant team. I mean, Rudy Gobert, the defense he was playing on Jokic, I mean, it just like, yeah, it's just like kind of, it became like the Jokic and Murray show. But they had a lot of points, but the shooting was really bad. They kind of ran through offense through them, even though they went to the line, they got points. Like, it really stalled the rest of their offense, and the bench didn't really do that, enough. Like, guys like I said last week, like Cam Johnson, Bruce Brown, Preston Brown, Aaron Gordon, like guys like that, they didn't really like hold their weight. Kind of forced it to be completely on Jokic and Murray, and the Wolves kind of had the supporting cast. I mean, you know what I mean? That was the huge difference in the series. I mean, for the Timberwolves, I mean, McDaniels played well. Gobert played really good defense. I mean, Julius Randle and Edwards had quiet games, and guys like Desunwu coming off the bench, he had 43 points in game four. You know what I mean? Came out of nowhere. So I mean, it was just I hadn't even heard of him before, but I mean, you know what I mean? He had a really good series, 25, and then he had 42 in game four, and game five, the Nuggets got one back on their home court. Brought it back to back to Minnesota, I guess, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like, had a better performance in that game.
The problem with
And
the Nuggets is that they asked their stars to do way too much.
like
You know,
everything, yeah.
their stars actually hummed along pretty well, but it was just there was nothing else on either
Right.
team.
Right. They're forced to take all the shots, and it's like Jokic, like the offense could just run through him, which is really rare for a center. But I mean, he has some level of handles. He's an excellent facilitator. He could shoot. He could definitely assist, get people open. Then you have a guy like Jamal Murray who can make shots. I mean, he should be able to, in theory, run an offense around the two of them. But without help, it becomes very, very difficult for things to go further than that. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that was the difference. The Wolves like less star power on the outside of Edwards, but Edwards had a very quiet series, like, you know what I mean, like Anthony Edwards, and yet they still won. I mean, Julius Randle had big games, Desunwu had big games. I mean, Rudy Gobert played really good defense. Jane McDaniels played really well. So it's just like, seeing all of that, like, I don't know. I've always liked the Wolves. Like, they've been a fun team, but they're, I mean, they're building something, and I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens, but like, if they can take, Terrence Shannon Jr. from, had a good game in the closeout. McDaniels, obviously, he really blossomed. So it's just like, this is all with, I think Anthony Edwards, being out and stuff like that. But, you know what I mean, for at least like a week or so, maybe longer. But I don't know. As good as the Wolves have been, like, I mean, going into San Antonio though, that's going to be a different task for them. I mean, going against Wemby and Castle and Fox and Harper, and I don't know. That's going to be a tough series, and especially without Anthony Edwards, it's going to be tough. But I'd still say the Wolves could probably take a couple games, perhaps, in the series, like make it competitive. It's just the Spurs are just like a different team this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, again, you know, because they're going up against OKC, right?
No,
There's another one.
the Spurs.
I still don't like. Okay, yes, even the Spurs, but like my point's going to still stand because I think they're gonna. I think both of those teams, the Spurs and the Thunder, are an absolute buzzsaw. So I don't think, honestly, I don't even think there's no team in the East that can challenge them, and I don't really think there's another team in the West that can challenge those two.
Yeah, the
Those
West
those
maybe
two,
maybe better challengers
whoever
for
wins that
sure.
series in the WCF, that's
It's gonna win the championship.
that's the Stanley Cup. That's the NBA Finals right there.
That's the Stanley Cup, yeah. That's what. Yeah, I mean, I think we've been seeing it on the show for weeks. Like that's I
And
can
I'm
make
gonna
it
say it for the
very
next couple weeks as we break down these series.
yes,
That is the
yeah.
that is the
Is the
NBA
W
Finals.
is the NBA fine? Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Cool, cool. All right. Well, I mean, in that case, yeah, I mean the Wolves Spurs. Yeah, I do think that it's gonna be the whoever wins that's gonna win the finals because those two teams are just well, like packed to the brim with star power, talent. I mean everything, size, like you know what I mean. They're just the best teams in basketball. But yeah. I guess on the other I guess those are basically the Western semis. So the Western semis are actually fully set. I just realized. I mean, we have both matchups ready to go. Final four in the West. The East has been kind of a mess, but like, and we could start with the one series that wasn't. The one series that's over and involves the local team in New York on the Knicks. And
Uh,
let's talk about that game six though, because I mean the
oh my
Hawks stole a couple, and then the
oh
Knicks
my
just yeah.
lord!
The Knicks just got their groove back by game four. I mean, they
I don't even
cruised.
know if it's like. I
You know what I
just
mean?
think Atlanta did something to piss them off.
Yeah.
Like,
'Cause, yeah, game four, like the Knicks obviously won. It was a nice bounce back win. Five was comfortable too. I mean, it was a like almost 30-point win. But game six was just not even a game. I mean, it was like, it was I mean, even game five, Jalen Brunson 39, like but game six was a joke right from the beginning. I mean, like it was close for a little bit, and then the Knicks just took off. It was like literally a 67-13 run. It was like you know what I mean, a 49-4 run. It was Hawks missing every shot, couldn't score. The Knicks scoring everything. Mikal Bridges, who had struggled mightily in the series, 24 points, 10 for 12. And OG Anunoby has been playing out of his mind, 29 points. I mean, Brunson at 17. I mean, the whole team just like Josh Hart at 14. Cat had 12, 11, and 10 on a really bad shooting night. But I mean, Bridges really stepped up. He kind of set the tone, some Euro steps, some layups. Like yeah, getting to the rim. OG and Anunoby making threes. I mean, he had a really good game, but they just took off. The Hawks just didn't have it in the tank. Like I mean, their leading scorer Jalen Johnson 21, but for a while they just didn't score. It was 40-15. It was 83-36. Like I've seen bad playoff games. I've seen 50-point losses in playoff games by the end of it. But seeing this be this bad at the half, like I don't even know what happened. Like, I mean, the Hawks just gave up. I think the Knicks just got on such a surge, and like you know what I mean. They already won two, and they were on their floor. But that, like, playing like that in a game six, like when your season's on the line, I thought the Hawks would come out firing, and try to get this thing back to New York, feeding off the home crowd, and then maybe the Knicks win because they're the better team. But for a play like this, I mean, it's just it's like they just gave up. They're like, shots were just
yeah,
literally not falling. Their morale was down. Like, you know what I mean? They just I don't know. Their morale must have been so down, like, that when the Knicks kind of started piling it on, it was over. Um, it was over. So, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting though because I don't know. I mean, it's just interesting because for game two and three, it felt like the Knicks had really taken control of kind of, or the Hawks had kind of like not really taken control, but they kind of had their number. The game two was the Knicks coming back, or the other, maybe the Hawks coming back and stealing one, and then game three was the opposite. The Knicks almost coming back and messing up. Everybody's like, "What the heck is going on?" They don't look good. They don't look good. They're not the same team as last year. They're not clutch. And then, like Mike Brown was like, "Oh, I'm not saying we're gonna win," but then the way they came out game four, just comfortable, five, even more comfortable, six, just like embarrassing. So like, yeah, good job for the Knicks winning that. I mean, that was game six. That must have been a fun night in New York. I didn't get to stay for that one because with work and everything. But oh man, like me and my friend we were just like we were laughing watching that. Put on the Boston Philly game because that game was just over. It was over.
Boston, Philly.
Yeah, I mean, like, because that game was going on game six, and this game was such a blowout. That series is another one we should talk about too, because oh man, that has been interesting from the jump. I mean, first of all, I
Yeah.
mean, like, the back and forth we want Boston chants changing from fan base to fan base has been so funny. The Celtics, I mean, obviously they won game one. The Philly wins game two. You're like, okay, they have a chance. You know what I mean? Like in Boston, you're like, okay, Edgecombe plays really well. Maxi does. The game three I thought was the pivotal one. Philly played well. Embiid wasn't back yet, but Boston, I mean, the Killer Bees, they took one there. You're still like, okay, Embiid. If you're rooting for the Sixers, you're like, Embiid's coming back. Embiid comes back. They look so bad in Game Four. It's like Game One again. Boston fans are chanting, "We want Boston to like mock them." And I mean, Tatum had a good game, obviously, but the Sixers, yeah, they did not look good. I mean, Embiid struggled a lot, even though we still had 26. The rest of the team kind of struggled, but I thought the series was over basically. 3-1 Boston going back to the Garden. Sixers just looked flat. They looked pretty decent in game three. Game four, they looked like dead in the water, like like it was over. But and also Peyton Pritchard at 32, he's been out of his mind. But game five though, I mean the Sixers just flipped the script on them. Game five and game six, like I mean now like Joel Embiid looks like the Joel Embiid we're used to seeing. And then you know what I mean, and you get Tyrese Maxey, you have Paul George. But that game was really the Joel Embiid game. Like he had 33. He had 8 and 4. You really saw coming off his appendix. I mean, yeah, Tyrese Maxey playing well also. I mean, like you really at fourth quarter they won it 28-11. Boston just like kind of wilted. I mean, it was just I don't know, for all the flack that Joel Embiid gets, and I give him a lot of it, but like he plays hard and he's a really good player when healthy. And I feel like sometimes people forget that, and like like he has a real effect on this team, and you know what I mean. And on top of that, they have the supporting cast around him. But I think Game Six though was the unlock for Philadelphia. I mean, this was the one where I think they really realized that they have a chance to win the series. And yeah, I mean, Joel Embiid's a big part of it, but I mean, Tyrese Maxey, I really like. He's quick. He could shoot. You know what I mean? But like Paul George, though, I think is the biggest difference and the reason why they could win this series, because now they have a guy who's been in these moments, who can score, who can get you buckets, who's not really an elite shooter, but a very, very damn good one. And like, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, Kelly Oubre's playing well. Edgecombe, like, you know what I mean? Their starting five is now clicking. They're clicking, and they have a killer, like, in those moments, like Paul George, if he can live up to it, you know what I mean? Like, if he could be the difference between them winning and losing the series, not Embiid, not Maxi, him, you know what I mean? I think, like, he's the reason why. Like, I think he's, like, the unlock that Philadelphia had in game six, where it's like, this is different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I think, And on top of that, the rest of the starting five, too, is playing really well. And also, Boston just hasn't looked like the same team the last couple games either. I mean, so part of it's also that the Celtics haven't been playing well, but I feel like I don't know. We'll see tonight. I mean, it could go the other way. Boston could win. It could be back to all the jokes about Philadelphia, but I think this year's different. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the Sixers win the series tonight.
Ooh, okay. Okay, hot
Yeah,
take.
the
I
one
love it.
the one time I'd probably ever like root for them too, but like I don't know. I'm feeling something. I feel like
Are
it's
you
gonna happen.
manifesting? Is that what you're doing? You want them to win, so you're
I mean,
manifesting?
yes, but like I also just feel like it could happen and it should happen based on the way that things are going, and you know what I mean. Like it feels like the momentum's fully with them though. But then I also realized that how little that means in playoff series. Like, you know what I mean? You could look good for 2 games and you can look, it could completely flip the other way. But I don't know. I feel like Philly unlocked something to with these last couple games. Like Embiid like playing the way he has. You know what I mean? Tyrese Maxey playing the way he has. The way that they said what he said. We're gonna come back and give the fans a good performance. Like the way we played was disgraceful and unacceptable in Game 4 at home. I was like, and then they come back and they do exactly that. And but like I said, I think the biggest difference is Paul George. I think like he's the one who can really push them over the line or not. Like you can have Embiid and Maxey play well, but like it's different. You went with him, you know what I mean? He'll make those key shots in the big moments, you know what I mean? He's probably the best shooter on their team too, like you know what I mean? So yeah, or at least one of them. So I think if they win, he'll be the reason why they do. If they lose, he might be the reason why they do because he's kind of been like a big playoff performer, but sometimes not. Playoff P. So that's my prediction. Yeah, I think Philly does win it in Boston, but it would have to like overwrite a lot of history, I guess, a lot of precedent. Which is where it gets interesting, I guess, because you know what I mean. Like, do those demons kick in for the Sixers tonight? That they can't beat the Celtics, that they're frauds, or like I don't think it's like that though. I think this team's different, and also Boston has not been playing well. The pressure is going to be on them to turn it around, and if they were playing well, like in these last couple games, I'd be like, yeah, I think they got it. You know what I mean? They're the better team, but I don't know. I think Philadelphia. I think it's going to come in ready to play. I don't know if the Celtics like will in this moment, but I could be very wrong. Like you know what I mean. Like I could be very wrong. I hope though I'm not. Like for this one time, like I hope I'm not. And but also the Knicks will get to see whoever comes out of this. So either way, like we're gonna have a great time roasting the hell out of Philly and Boston. Like I cannot wait for that. As a Knicks fan, I don't, or like an honorary whatever fake Knicks fan. Like I don't know who the Knicks fans would
Yeah,
want more. At
no,
this
you're a
point, I'm
fake
basically
Mets
a
fan. That's
real.
what you
I'm
are.
pretty close to like a real one. But who do you
That's what.
think like?
No, no, no. What you are is that you're a fake Nets fan. That's what
Yeah,
you
that's
are.
there we go. That's probably the Nets don't really give you a reason to root for them anyway. But
Oh,
that's a different story.
you
But
don't
like I
need a
mean,
reason. You
yeah,
pick it.
you just like I don't
What a
know.
what a what a
Yeah.
Jets what a Jets fan say. I was born into this.
Oh my god, that's a
It's
nightmare. Like, and
generational
the fan was
trauma.
like crying and saying like, "I was born into this. I didn't choose this," and that's just
No,
it's
this like.
terrible. But
Do you remember the video of like that one kid who they stopped him like as he was walking out of the stadium? Like, why? Like, what are your thoughts on this season so far? He goes, "I hate this team. I was born into this.
yeah, that's the one. That's what I
I
was
hate this."
referring to actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So funny, but no, I
That
mean
like
though, like
look, that
seriously,
kid did not look like he wanted to talk, but he had something to say.
he
Like
had something to say. Yeah. As it relates to the Knicks and the Nets, though, like this is where it does get interesting for me because I feel like as a Nets fan and probably Knicks fans feel the same way. Like the two teams that they probably both hate the most are probably Philly and Boston. So you know what I mean? As someone like even as a pure Nets fan, like you probably fucking hate both of these teams like out of your mind. But and as a Knicks fan, you also hate both of these teams too
to
a
be
lot.
fair, I
So
hate Philly more than I hate Boston just because I just don't like anything in Philly. You
yeah, I
know?
think as a sports city, I hate Philadelphia
Oh
more.
god,
Like
yeah.
even
Ooh.
yeah, like the
Like
Eagles, the Flyers. Like I mean, we'll
like
get to
Boston
that in
and
a
Philly
minute.
to me are just a personification of pro sports evil, other than the
Yeah,
Dallas Cowboys.
yeah, exactly. It's just ugh, like yeah, but Philly, like it's weird. Like I don't know. I mean, it's hard because it gets complicated in that sense because the Celtics have kind of been like a thorn, but the Sixers have been like the immediate roadblock, like for Brooklyn. Like and like there's been more sweeps, but then in the in the playoff series that the Nets and the Celtics have had, Nets have beaten them once, Celtics swept them. It's painful, whatever. But and then if you're looking at it on the from the Knicks, I mean, they fucking hate Boston like so much too. They also hate Philadelphia, but it's more just like sports banter, like rivalry than like as much as Boston. So, but the Knicks fans, I think, want Boston more because they want to prove something and they want, you know what I mean? There's just more of a rivalry there. It's always we want Boston. It's not what we want Philly. But now if Philly wins the game, from a Knicks perspective, probably from a Nets perspective, like it's fun to be like, at Philly, this, that. So like whoever the Knicks get, like I'll be very happy because as a Knicks/Nets fan, whatever, like it's gonna be so much fun to just go after them like for 7 games, like or however many. And I think the Knicks can win too on top of that. So I mean like yeah, but I mean in terms of this series though, 76ers Boston, I mean, it's been interesting. I did not think the Sixers had any chance, especially after they went down 3-1, but I don't know, like, you know what I mean? They're playing with something, like, they're playing better right now. And I think they have the starting five to exercise their demons against the Celtics, and I hope they do. I really do hope they do. They beat them just this once.
The
Not even
demons
just this once, but like
have
since
been
they can.
accessed.
It's like I'd be the first one to roast Philly if in a Sixers Celtic series, but since they're right on the doorstep of it, like it's like don't stop now, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, like knock
yeah,
them out.
yeah, knock him out because the whole league is like rooting for that. You know what I mean? Like think about how many teams hate Boston, the Knicks, the Nets, the Sixers, probably the Raptors, the Cavs. Like just you think about how many teams in the East are probably rooting for Philly tonight. Like probably for some weird reason, Washington because of one playoff series, the Hawks, the Heat, the Magic. You know what I mean? It's just everybody. Everybody hates them. The Lakers, obviously. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think about how many teams like hate Boston, but pretty much everybody does, and Philly might hate them the most because they've been the roadblock. So we'll see what happens, but it's just I know a lot of the league is pulling for Philadelphia tonight, and I am too. So well, from a Knicks perspective, from a Nets perspective, and from a underdog perspective too. So like let's hope they get it done, but yeah, you know what I mean. We'll see what happens. Either way, though, if the Knicks get Philly, if they get Boston, cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun. Literally the two teams I probably hate the most, but that should be fun. But it's not the only game seven though. There's a couple other series in the East that are also going to game seven, so we should definitely mention as well. So I mean the Pistons versus Magic series. I mean, this one the Magic have been like I mean a 1 versus an 8, but the 8 seed was the team in control of the series. I mean, going up 3-1, yeah, in Orlando, winning both home games, winning game one too, and yeah, winning game one, and then going yeah, like I said, going up 3-1 in Orlando, but then I mean, backs against the wall. I mean, the Pistons take one in Detroit. This was the game five was interesting. It was interesting one. It was the Paulo Banchero versus Kate Cunningham show. They both had
Yeah, who
45
would have thought
points,
that?
right?
You
Yeah.
know, who would have
Yeah.
thought those two would be?
Well,
I don't know.
yeah, I mean they are like the best players like on their team. Like you can know like Kate Cunningham could do absolutely do that. And but
Well,
I think both
okay, Kate, I believe, but
Banchero.
honestly, this might be my fault because I don't keep up with the NBA during the regular season. But I was like keeping up with that game, and I was like, who is this guy? you know,
Yeah. Both of them I think were number one picks, I believe, too, in different drafts. So like
I'm so
I'm pretty
just
sure.
to make a disclaimer for the audience, I'm so bad with my NBA stuff because it's like, I care a lot about football, college football, everything. I care a lot
Me
about
too.
hockey. I care a lot about college basketball, but with the more things that I care, the more sports I care a lot about, the NBA just gets pushed further and further
That's
down.
fair. Honestly, this is what I was saying. Like the regular season for even for me and probably for us especially more because we're like Nuts fans, but it just doesn't mean a lot. You know what I mean? It might be nice to put on a game every now and then, but like it just the
Yeah, but
playoffs
it
is where
feels
it
like
means a lot.
if we put it, oh, we put on a game, they get creamed,
Torched.
you know. They get torched, you
Yeah,
know.
I've tried it a few
We
times. Like you would
we
not
try not
recommend.
to jump off the highest building in Brooklyn.
Oh my god. Yikes. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
That
Geez.
that that's how it no, that's how it goes.
It did
It's
because like one time I turned on a game and they were down by 40 to the Knicks, and then I was just like, you know what I mean? Like it's like you almost can't blame me for like switching sides because of that. Like not because of that. I could have made that decision last playoffs where I was just like, fuck it. Like if the Knicks are playing, if they're balling, like it's just different. Like I feel like with New York, like you can be a Yankees or Mets fan, you can be a Giants or Jets fan. There is clearly a
Ooh, I don't
one A
know if
and a one B.
I don't know if you
right?
can be a Yankees or a Mets fan and a Mets fan. I don't think you can
No, I
be.
meant like or like you have an option like in New York sports culture, like it's respected to be either one. Now, obviously, the Yankees are like the fun, good team, and whatever. It's like, but that's like a real choice. Like in New York, like I just don't. It's like not the same. Like you know what I mean? Like even the way they like nobody even talks about the Nets, and even when they were good, it was like it didn't really feel like they
The
were
Nets
part
should
of
have
that
never left New
dynamic.
Jersey, and I'll say it again. They should have never left. Most
Yeah,
of
that's the
the
thing. If
Nets
you're in
fans
Jersey, you
are
you absolutely if you're in Jersey, you absolutely can be a Nets fan, and if you're in Brooklyn, you can be. But it's like even then,
I'm
like
gonna
it's
I'm
just
gonna
like yeah,
fix New Jersey. I'm gonna fix New Jersey sports, right? Here's what they have to do, and I'm 100% serious about this. By the way, they
hmm
need to first of all they need to get out of Newark. Newark is too
yeah,
close to New York. It's not a New Jersey city. The Nets need to come back to Jersey, and the Devils and the Nets need to
hmm
need to move in to the same building together somewhere around the New Brunswick area,
did you
smack dab in
say?
the middle of the state.
Oh Jesus. Okay, interesting.
What?
Interesting.
You got a problem? New Brunswick is the most New Jersey city. Fight me on that.
They could they could just play at Rutgers. At that point, like you know what I mean. Like play
No,
at Jersey Mike's
but
Arena.
you get what I'm saying. I don't think you should be a New Jersey team all the way up in Newark because Newark
Yeah,
is like
that's fair.
that's like
It's
a
not really
new
like
that's a
it's like
New
on the
Jersey.
way to New York. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, most people look at like Newark as
that's North
you know
Jersey.
Gotham compared to New York City's Metropolis type. If you're a
I get
superhero,
yeah, it's like kind of like the lighter, like like the darker version of like New York without the glitz and the
yeah,
glamour, but like Jersey's version. Like yeah, you know what I mean. Even like Newark Penn Station versus New York Penn. You know what I mean? It's just like
it's like a cheap rundown copy.
of New York. Yeah, I get that, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like New Jersey, like, I mean, the Devils are New Jersey's team. Like, even though they, you know what, you're not, you know what I mean? Like, whatever
Yeah,
they
but
play Newark,
the thing
whatever.
is,
But
like people in South Jersey will never say that.
that's true. They're just like forgetting it. Like, because that's such a long, like, imagine going from South Jersey to a Devils game, as it is like Central Jersey, the Shore. That's far enough. That's like a
That's
good
what I'm
train
saying.
ride.
That's why they should, because the only city in Central Jersey is
New
New Brunswick
Brunswick. I mean, the only big enough city, I guess.
or
Yeah,
Trenton.
Trenton. Yeah, Trenton, like the Thunder. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I guess it's not bad because like the trains make it easy. Like you know what I mean? You can always take like the coastline train from there, or you could take like the Northeast Corridor like train or you know what I mean, to whatever.
Corridor,
Or
corridor.
wait, how do you say that? Corridor? It's
It's
corridor.
corridor.
It's corridor. Yeah. Yeah. Northeast Corridor.
What is corridor?
I don't
What
really
is?
say that a lot, that word a lot. Corridor, but yeah. Anyway, I mean, like I'm on those trains like all the time for my job, but I guess my point being, like, it might be in Newark, but like, you know what I mean. You could take a train from like Central Jersey, whatever. You know what I mean. Like they even have like in Prudential Center, they have a map of like New Jersey, and like it's you know what I mean. Like you can kind of see like where the Devil Stadium is and where people get to the stadium from. So it's cool. But yeah, I mean, I think you kind of might be onto something there. But Newark's also like the only place where they have like a big enough like arena. I feel like for these like like these Jersey teams like
Well, they
where
would
they
have to
can
build it. That's what I'm
well, yeah,
saying.
obviously, but yeah, it kind of it does kind of work. But anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked because we're talking about like the I don't even know how we got to this. We're talking about the Pistons versus the Magic because we're talking about the Knicks versus the Nets and all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
like yeah, no, I mean Pistons versus Detroit. Well, that's the same team, but Pistons versus Orlando. I mean, yeah, 3-1
What a
Magic.
series. What a
It's been fun.
series.
It's been fun. I mean, the Orlando Magic. I mean, the way that they went up, but but
Orlando
everybody kind of
Magic.
Orlando
Orlando
Magic.
Magic.
Yeah,
Love
well,
that.
The Pistons are cooking
Uh,
them like in the last couple. I mean, they beat them. Obviously, the 45-point show. You kind of like had a feeling, just like the Sixers series. You kind of had a feeling which way this was gonna go, and then it flipped. You know what I mean? Which is like the Sixers Boston series. It's like okay, Boston got this. Philly's like not so fast. Orlando Magic Pistons kind of the same vibe, except for there's a fun little underdog like haha like Detroit sucks and the Pistons are just like, hold on to that thought because they won Game 5, they won Game 6, and I just kind of like, at this point I'm like really just hoping the Magic just put them away, and like now it's like, oh, like, uh-oh, like, that's not good kind of thing. But the
Yeah,
Magic also did not play good because yeah, Banchero like went 4 for 20 from the field, 0 for 9. He had a really bad game, even though he had 17 and 10. I mean, meanwhile, the Pistons now, like, kind of firing well. I mean, the Pistons, like, I guess that kind of works. But, I mean, yeah, Tobias Harris at 22, Cunningham
that
32
was so bad.
with
Oh,
the
the
Pistons
Pistons are
firing.
firing well. Come on.
I mean, I don't know. I just said it, but it made sense because, like, you know what I mean. But
No, no,
Pistons, like,
no, it makes sense.
yeah,
But to be honest with you, if you're looking at what the Magic were at the start of the series, and if you're looking at what the Pistons were at the start of this series,
right,
then the Magic,
it
you did
flipped.
your job by making it to Game 7. You know, Um,
Yeah, but like, I don't want to think of it like that anymore. Like, in theory, yes, obviously, because like, yeah, I mean, the Magic are like the 8 seed, barely got into this thing, had to win in the play-in. The Pistons are a 60-win team. Like, this should have been over in like 4 or 5 games. Like, I mean, the
yeah,
fact that
but
the
also,
Magic took control of the series, like, completely took control of the series, had them on the ropes. Like, it would suck for like this to go the other way now, and like for
yeah,
the
but
Magic to get worn down. But it does make sense.
I totally agree with you. But you also act like in their losses they got completely cooked. Like,
Well,
Game 5
Game
was
5
a
was a
7 point
yeah, Game
game.
5 was a competitive one that could have swung either way. That was like a real like Detroit like one. Like, I'll give that one. The Game 6, like, yeah, the Magic just didn't look good. Like,
But
just
again,
yeah.
I think if you're the Magic and you're in a winner take all situation against the number one team in the conference and you've fought yourself to this point, it's nothing else matters right now.
Yeah,
You're
I
happy that you're
guess.
here. You're happy that you're here,
I'm gonna take it
you know?
more like house money though. Like, if I'm gonna go with where the underdogs, they shouldn't have been here, I'm not gonna be like I'm not gonna be like, oh, it doesn't matter if we lose. I'm gonna be like, no, let's just win the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like
My whole
fuck
thing is it
everything.
doesn't matter if you lose, so go out there and
Yeah, it
throw
might
everything
actually
at
take the
them.
pressure off of them in the Game 7 because they're the team that's playing with house money. So you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they weren't supposed to be here. They got there. They had a couple of closeout chances. They didn't take it or they didn't win it.
On the flip side, I'm looking
Yeah,
at both the Celtics and the Pistons. You were not supposed to be here. You fell down early and got punched in the mouth, you know?
right. You were
In
not. Yeah,
terms
you were not supposed to be here. Meaning, like, you had control of the series. Wait, no, it's like the opposite though, because like,
well, no. Like
yeah,
this was never supposed to go to game 7. The Pistons versus Magic was never supposed to go to game 7. The Celtics versus the
yeah.
76ers was not supposed to go to game 7. It
But in
has
like
gone to game
in
7.
opposite ways though, like, you know what I mean? Because like the 76ers, like Boston series, like Boston was supposed to take it, they're the better team, all of that. They were up 3-1. But the Pistons Magic though is an interesting case because it wasn't supposed to go to game 7 because of the Pistons were supposed to be a lot better. It also wasn't supposed to go to game 7 because the Magic had them in a 3-1 chokehold. And yet here we are. So now it's just like, you know what I mean? It like brings
That's
both
fair.
sides together. It brings like the number 8 seed trying to get the upset against the number 1 seed that is trying to prove they're legitimate still. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
it's really interesting actually. Like, wow, like it's like both sides now are like, you know what I mean? They kind of meet in the middle. You know what I mean? It's like it's like, so Sixers Boston is them trying to like the Sixers trying to claim legitimacy, I guess, and the Celtics trying to stand up to that and prove that they're still the top dogs against them. And the Magic Pistons is almost like a humbling moment. Like, it's almost, you know what I mean? It's like a weird
Yeah.
dynamic. You know what I mean? It's almost like, okay, like, you got this far, but like we're still the 1 seed, but we played like shit, and now we're like playing good. It's like weird. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, let's see who's really like the better team. It's like, the Magic looked like they were for a while. The Pistons are like, no, like, we're the 1 seed. Like, we're gonna like win this thing. We're gonna kick you out. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird battle for like supremacy between two teams that have both kind of had that underdog label on them, that both are young, that both need to prove themselves, meeting up. You know what I mean? The other one is more just like, a lot of star power. You know, the Sixers would have probably done it to like a lot of other teams, but they haven't been able to get past Boston. They have a chance, but the Celtics are like, you know, they're roadblock. They're a roadblock for a lot of teams in the league. So they're both different dynamics. The Celtics is Sixers trying to push back, push past, you know, like a roadblock, a team that's held them back. All of that. Like Joel Embiid knows it. I mean, you know, when he was hearing the Sixers fans chant, "We want Boston," thriving off of it, saying we've lost to them long enough. That's the dynamic in that series. Boston trying to say you'll keep losing. This is a completely different dynamic altogether. This is an 8 seed that played better than a 1 seed. The 1 seed now catching up and saying it's our time, and the meaning right in the middle of that. Like, you know, who's gonna move forward? Is it gonna be the 8 seed that's probably played better for a while, or is the 1 seed gonna say we're the 1 seed for a reason? You had your fun. It's our turn. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I don't know. These are gonna be good. And the best part about all of this is we haven't even gotten to the final series yet. That's also going to 7. The Raptors versus the Cavs, and this has been an interesting series too because I mean the I think each team won all their home games in this, but I mean the Cavs looked like they had really like complete control of the series early on. The Raptors come back and they win a, you know, resounding game 3 at home. And then game 4 as well. Game 5 the Cavaliers get back. That was a nice win by them. Yeah. I mean, it was a close one. That was a close one. I mean, you know, Cavaliers win a tight one over in Cleveland. And then yeah, I mean, you know, Harden, Mitchell, like, you know, all their guys. They won a tight one in Cleveland. But game 6 though, like it went the other way. It went back to Toronto. This one was like it went to overtime. It really could have gone either way. There was a crazy shot by the Raptors that pushed into overtime, went like off the rim, like, you know, kind of like the Halliburton shot from last year, came back in, and then the overtime, was that the winner? I think, and then I think there was a 3-point shot that basically won the game for Toronto. It might have been that one. Yeah, I think it was that one in overtime that they got that shot, and it's going back to Cleveland for 7, but. I don't know. I mean, for the Raptors, they also are a team that has a young core. I mean, they have Scotty Barnes, RG Barrett, guys like that. The Cavs has so much star power, but I just feel like they don't live up to it. Like, you know, all this time it's kind of been Donovan Mitchell and whatever. And then you have James Harden. He doesn't, like, you know what I mean? Half the time he doesn't do anything. Like, it's just like so disappointing to see like the Cavs go to, like, you know what I mean? I was like, could be a good year for the Cavs to make a run. They have Donovan Mitchell, they have James Harden, you know, they have an easy matchup, like whatever. You know what I mean? You're like thinking like it could work. And like, I mean, if this is a playoff, if this is how it's going in round 1, I mean, think about like what they're going to be up against next. I mean, you know, like a team of Destiny Magic or the Pistons who found life, you know, the Knicks. It could be after that, like, you know what I mean. Like the Cavs, like it's very clear that you know, based on this kind of series, that they're probably just not going anywhere, even if they like win, even if they beat Toronto, which is no guarantee. Like I don't think that they're gonna go anywhere in the playoffs, like at all.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, none of the, I don't want to say this series doesn't matter because all series matters, but like
Yeah, and it's been a good one too. Actually, it's been
it's been
definitely
a
one.
good one, but
I
I
don't
want to
know.
say I don't want
It's
to
a
say who cares, but
it
who
kind
cares?
of does feel like, you know what I mean, after like the juice of the Magic Piston series, you know, the Knicks playing the way they are, the Sixers Celtics series going the way it has. Like I mean, it's just been like you're
I
like
could
okay,
personally
yeah.
guarantee you that neither of these teams are doing anything in the
Yeah,
playoffs
they're gonna be
besides
out.
beating each other.
But this side of the East is interesting because it's, you know what I mean? One of the Magic, Pistons, Cavs, and Raptors are going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. And for a while, we were thinking it wasn't going to be the Pistons. It was going to be the Magic, Cavs, or Raptors in the Eastern Conference Finals. But now, like, damn, it's like when the Pistons like messed everything up. Like everybody's just like planning all these scenarios where the Pistons are just out, and like, you know what I mean. But the funny part is even them they've not been a team that's been in the, you know what I mean. They've been bad. They're even them, even though they're the 1 seed, whatever. Like they're even kind of an outsider to like these later rounds in the playoffs, and they're also young. So either way, like even if you want to look at it like the Magic, Pistons, Cavs, or Raptors, one of them is going to be in the ECF. I mean, it's true, and none of those teams are really like a team that you'd expect in the ECF, but one of them will be. It's probably not going to be the Cavs or Raptors though, because neither of those look really good.
Yeah. Um uh, I don't know. It's like this series to me, even though it's like been exciting, it's been good. It's just I don't want to like break these both these
Yeah,
teams off,
me
but it's like
either. It's like,
you
where do they
know
like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, where do they
you know
fit
when
in?
you're watching like a wild card game in the NFL and you're like, oh, we'll see who makes it to the next round, but neither of these teams are winning anything. You know?
Yeah,
That's what it feels like.
yeah, kinda, right? It's kind of like how like the Niners beat the Eagles in the playoffs, and then they got like blasted by the Seahawks, and you're just like, right. And then you think of like how bad the Eagles were in that game to like lose to that Niners team, but the Niners team also got injured like hell. But yeah, it's kind of like a different. There's like levels to this, but it's not like that. The Cavs or Raptors are bad teams. They're fun, like scrappy. But that's exactly what the 4-5 matchup should look like. You know what I mean? They look like a 4 or 5 matchup, but they don't look like as good as the 3 or the 2 or the 1 or for some weird reason the 7 and the 8 because like they're, you know what I mean, the Sixers and Magic have like kind of flipped the script on this entire thing. But yeah, you know what I mean, they just look in the middle. They look like, like in the middle. It's kind of like the Lakers against the Thunder. Like they look good against the Rockets, but like it's like a different level coming up, I guess. So like kind of the same here, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, I mean, wow, that's a lot on the NBA side, and we're about like 50 minutes in. We should transition over to the cup, to the Stanley Cup playoffs,
Let's go
because
to the real playoffs. No,
the
just
real
kidding.
playoffs after we spent like almost an hour on the other playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, yeah,
We saved the best for last, right?
yeah, exactly.
So I'll take the lead here. My bracket is absolutely cooked.
Oh, damn.
Um, First of all, Sabres, welcome back
Let's
to the playoffs.
go.
What a performance against Boston.
Yeah, that was a nice win yesterday. For right,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And to be honest
for
with you,
one.
in all the games that Buffalo won, they embarrassed Boston.
Yeah,
You know, except for game one. But game three, 3-1, game four, 6-1, game six, 4-1. Every single time that they beat Boston, they
yeah,
absolutely rolled them pretty much.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Going
Pittsburgh,
on, yeah.
what
Ooh,
happened?
oh my God, this
What do
series
we do?
was like this one was juicy. Like, let me like talk
Oh,
about this a little bit because the Flyers went up 3-0 on
I
them. It
hate
looked
Philly. Like I
it went
hate
it looked
Philly.
over. Yeah, me too. I don't like them. Philly sports, it's weird for me because like the Eagles are like way up here, like at the top of the hate list. Like probably not many teams I hate more than them, if any. The Sixers are still pretty high on it, but not like the Eagles. And the Flyers are like a little bit below them too, but I still don't like them. And then the Phillies are kind of like I'm chilling, but like the Flyers in this
Because
series,
the
though, I was
Yankees aren't in the same division as the
yeah, that
Phillies.
makes a huge difference. That makes like a
Yeah.
yeah. The
But
other three, the Devils
I
are, the
just
Nets are, and the Giants, of course, are. So like yeah, but
I
in
can't
this series though,
stand
I
the
was
Flyers.
yeah. I mean, this series I was definitely rooting for Pittsburgh, and yeah. I mean, the first game was 3-2, but then the second and third games were just lopsided. I mean, it looked embarrassing, but the Penguins left themselves off the mat game 4, and got the 4-2
Game
win.
five, yeah.
Yeah, in
Um
Philly. Yeah,
and game six,
I
losing on
know.
the first
Yeah.
goal of the game in
I know
overtime.
that's brutal because
Come
even game
on.
because I guess it's always like that with these series, like the 3-0, 3-2, and like you know what I mean. It just feels like game 4 is like okay, cool, like you won one, great. Game 5 is like where it starts to turn. You're like okay, and then even Crosby was saying like after the game like like we found our momentum, like we had our chances the first three, and we're gonna go in there and do everybody's like okay, the Penguins got this, like they're gonna come back home and send it to 7 at least. And then game 6, it always falls apart for these teams. Like, I don't know why, but it's just like, you know what I mean? It almost always falls apart. It usually never gets to
Yeah.
7. And that sucks because like that's when you have the momentum. And also this game was yeah, like you said, it was 1-0, no goal scored
God.
until overtime.
Yeah,
So
both teams were absolutely blanked until overtime, and it looked
yeah.
like the Penguins actually outshot Philadelphia like by at least like 12 shots, I think it was. So their offense was peppering the goal a little bit more than Philly,
Yeah,
but
yeah, they outshone them.
yeah,
So
but Uh,
Yeah, Silovs had what 32 saves and
uh,
31 and
Vladder,
32. Yeah, the Flyers
Vladimir.
on Vladar had 42 saves, which that's even
Yeah.
better, honestly. But yeah, and then the game winner by Cam York. I mean, that was quite
God.
the goal. Like, I mean, that was a
Oh
nice
no, it was
goal.
a beauty. Don't get me wrong, but you know,
Yeah,
it was a
top
definitely
TI.
of a beauty of a shot. But
Yeah, definitely.
man,
I know, man. Like, oh,
I
I wanted
can't
Pittsburgh
stand the
to.
Flyers.
I wanted the Pens to take it back home for Game 7 and
I
like.
arguably hate the Flyers more than I like almost as much as I hate the Rangers. Like I
Yeah,
cannot
I don't
stand the
like them.
Flyers.
I don't like them, but I will say, like, I don't know, like, it's like the Sixers though, like, it's like weird. Like, I'm not rooting for the Flyers the same way, but it's just like I'm happy that Philadelphia kind of has their two teams like in the playoffs, like kind of cooking right now. Like, it's nice for them, like like seeing the
Gives me
crowd.
something to root against. I'll give them that much.
That yes, and also like I like seeing like how passionate they get and stuff like that. I guess is like where I'll put it like without like crossing over into like I like them, but like I like seeing like the excitement that's going on over there with the Sixers and especially with the
Yeah,
Flyers and like it's nice. But yeah, I mean, do I want them to win though? Hell no. But like, but like,
for
yeah, I
sure.
do respect it. I do respect it. I'm happy that their fans are having a good time, especially with the Flyers because Flyers have been bad for so fucking long. Like, the Sixers is different. Like, they know who they are. But even then, like, they might be on the verge of like, a breakthrough too. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
besides that one, yeah, I
just
mean,
wait, hold on. Just
yeah,
to talk about that a little bit more. Like, yes, I understand that the Flyers have been bad for so long. Still don't like them. The Broad Street Bad Boys. I
sure.
can't hate can't
You
stand
can't
them.
stomach
Such
it. Yeah.
such a dirty culture. Can't stand it.
Exactly. I
Um,
don't really like because even the way they were going after the like in the series, like they were like going after the Pens players, like taking hits on them. Like it's playoff hockey, nothing dirty. But you know what I mean? They were like putting that, like what I mean. It's a rivalry. You know what I mean? They were like trying to set the
oh, there's
tone, and
hatred.
Pittsburgh was trying to answer it too. But like, I mean, yeah, it's just like
There's
I
hatred,
realized like they were,
and Pittsburgh just
yeah.
couldn't keep up with the physicality.
Yeah,
Speaking
because
of teams that
they
just
were on the road, and then in game 1 and 2, they were, like, kinda trying to go after the Pens players, taking, like, hits on them, being like, "This is gonna be that kind of series," and Pittsburgh's like, "Okay, we'll fight you," like, and I was like, "Alright, like, let's see it."
yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah,
Speaking of
I don't
teams that
know.
just couldn't keep up with the competition,
Yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna be the first one to say it, like, kudos to
the
Ottawa. Like,
Senators.
they had so much going against them. They
That's
did
true,
not
just
get
even
blown out in a single game. They fought every game to the bitter end, essentially. You know,
yeah,
they
they just
lost
couldn't win 'em.
4 games combined. In the 4 games that they got swept, they lost by a combined 6 points, 6 goals.
6 goals, yeah, I mean, game 1 was 2 goal loss, game 2 over double overtime,
Yep,
um, game 3, 2-1 Carolina. In
and
Ottawa,
then
and then 4
4-2.
was 4-2, right, yeah, a close series for, like it feels like kinda what
Close series.
happens.
It's like weird saying it, but it's like close series for a sweep, you
Yeah,
know?
well, I mean, I've seen it before, like when the Nets, like, got swept by Boston that one year when they had KD and
No, but,
Kyrie.
like, even still, like, when you get swept, you expect to have, like, 1 game in there. Like, even Colorado against the Kings, we were,
Yeah, like
saluting the
one
Kings to
blowout
keep
or something, yeah, you know what
yeah,
I mean? It's kinda like that Carolina-Florida series from a couple years ago where all the games were close and, like, you know what I mean? Or I
yeah,
don't know,
and the
were they all close or, like, a couple of them were, and then I think they melted away, but yeah.
I think they got beat pretty good in the last one, if I'm talking about the same one you are, but,
Yeah,
um
well, they're both, like, different because, I think the last year's series was just a complete embarrassment, but the one before that was, like the one 2 years ago, like, yeah, there was a couple close ones Carolina lost, and then, yeah, then I think the Panthers just took over that, but, I don't
yeah,
wanna, like, go into, like, looking all that up again because it's funny for me,
right,
but, like, I don't wanna waste the time on that right now, but yeah, I
yeah.
mean, like, it's funny to see, like, how Carolina loses in the second round every year, it's,
Gosh.
like, one of my favorite
No, they're
things.
gonna lose in the ECF. Come on
Yeah,
now.
well, but
We know
this
what's gonna happen.
yeah, like I said, with the Flyer, it's, like, weird, like, I don't like them, but I'm
I
happy,
don't
like,
care
their
about
fans.
Carolina, that's the thing, though.
Yeah, I don't care
Carolina's
about
just there.
Carolina. It's like weird. I'm
You
happy
know?
that the Flyers fans are happy, I guess, but I don't like. I'm not happy, but I'm happy that they're having good times. And you know what I
You
mean?
look
Like,
at another struggling team and go, okay, you made it out. You know?
yeah, it's kind of like they made it out, and then with the
Yeah,
Sixers, I don't really care about them too much. Like
yeah.
whatever, but
Because
better
they're not a
better
struggling
than
team.
better
They've
than
seen
Boston though.
success. They've seen playoff
Yeah,
games.
they've
They've
been
seen
on the verge
success.
of it. They just haven't gotten there, and then I'm just like, oh well,
Yeah.
But if they do, then I'll be happy. But anyway, in terms of
I just
Flyers versus um
yeah.
yeah, in terms of
Same thing with the
Flyers
Flyers and the Penguins.
versus Hurricanes, yeah, I wanted the Penguins to win too, but that's going to be an interesting series. I mean, like obviously Carolina's the better team, but I'm sure,
I
but Flyers
still
are coming in with some magic here. This could be an
if
interesting one.
honestly, if I'm gonna go on that law, I'm gonna go with the Flyers take it.
All
You
right.
know?
I don't
Like,
know. Let's see. I don't know. It's like this one is like a gross matchup for like Devils fans. Like honestly, like the Flyers and then the team that's like knocked them out like in the playoffs multiple years. Like
you
who do you
talk
think?
about you've been knocked out of the playoffs by Carolina. The
That's what I said.
Islanders have been victimized by Carolina in the playoffs.
Well,
Like,
so wait, yeah,
for like 3 or 4 seasons going, the whole thing would be like the Islanders are like way out of a playoff spot,
yeah.
right? You know, and then all of a sudden after the All-Star break, they
The
would start
surge.
winning like crazy. They would get into the wild card 1 spot,
I
and then
remember
they would
that.
get matched up against
Oh
Carolina
my
and
god.
lose in 5 games.
Yeah,
And
the
that was
Devils.
like 3 seasons in a row.
Yeah, we lost to the Kings in two different like playoffs, I think, so, too. So and both of them I think were like pretty bad. So they're like four. I think they were like
Although
4-1. So but
we did get
yeah,
our revenge in the ECF runs in the 2020 2021 times, but we did get our revenge on the Canes during that period. But
yeah, we
yeah,
couldn't have the
like the
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes just victimize like all the other teams in the East, and then when it's
Literally.
time, except for the Rangers, which
Yeah, well, the Rangers had their one win over them, I guess. But
yeah, but they never like really played the Rangers in the playoffs either, if I'm remembering correctly. So
that's
like
true.
they
Except for that one year where they did, I guess. But
yeah, they always like victimize the teams in the East, but I feel like
but except for
Carolina had their
Florida, though.
chance.
So
You're not going to be good forever. Philadelphia is probably going to come in there and like put the coffin. You know,
wow.
I'm not going to say that they're going to sweep them, but they're probably going to
No,
come in there, win in like
win a
6
couple.
games or
Yeah.
something.
I don't know. I
You
guess if
know,
I don't know, we're both going on a limb and like picking Philly teams with like blind faith today. So I hope
yeah. Well,
this goes well for us. But because if not, I swear to God, I will like never do this again. Like you know what I mean? The Sixers I will probably never pick again, especially in the playoffs. The Flyers I probably like I don't know I couldn't really care. So but I see what you're going for though. For me, like I it's both. Like do I want I want the Sixers to ensure. Also, I feel like it will happen. Like you know what I mean. I just feel like it's different. It's like a gut feeling. For you, you can have the same thing here with the Flyers. You're like I
yeah.
want it to happen, and I think it will.
But
And I
I
don't think
think
you're
it's
wrong, but I don't know, you know what I mean? It's just Carolina though, it's
I
the
think
bubble.
like but that's the thing though. Like you're saying it's just Carolina, but in my opinion, no team is good forever. And eventually, I think Carolina missed their Stanley Cup
Maybe, but that
championship
doesn't mean they
window.
won't win in the second round. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that
Yeah,
way.
yeah. I don't know. I think it's just time for them to start taking a downturn and getting like progressively weaker as
That'd be
seasons go on.
so funny. It's like the hurricane fizzled out.
No, as I always called them, the regular season
In the
storm.
store, but no, but I saw it like I say I feel like the other way, you know what I mean, about the Canes. Like usually they're like not quite like the best team, but they're close. Like this year they're like the clear cut, like most experienced, probably one of the best, if not the best.
Well,
They've
they usually
had
get the
more
number
points.
1 seed in the
Well,
Metro.
that is true, I guess. But this year they're like the number one overall. Like there's no Florida. You know what I mean? They're more experienced than Buffalo.
Mm,
Lightning and Canadians are going to 7. You know what I mean? Carolina's probably as good or better than both.
we're gonna
Like
save that series for last, by the way.
yeah, but there's no reason why like the Canes can't go to You know what I mean? Like it
There,
wouldn't make logical sense for them not to.
but
There's no
also
like
to be
Florida
in the
better, more experienced team than them. Like usually the Cats have kind of been that team. Like yeah, you're good, but we're better. This time, like even the Sabres, you know what I mean? Like they're the team that's the most experienced. They're the best. Yeah, maybe not. Even if they're not the best, they probably are the best. But yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? I feel like they are. They're the best, and if they're not, like whatever they're not, they can probably make up for what the amount of playoff experience they have. Like if they sell it, it's on them this year. Like you know what I mean? That's that's the way I look at it. Like you know what I mean?
Because that's the thing though. Like I understand, like, oh yeah, Panthers, more experience, better, whatever. You know, you went to how many Stanley Cup, Eastern Conference Final games, and you've won two.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know,
That's
and
a
we're
problem.
talking all the way back to 2007. They played in like what 20 Eastern Conference Final
Probably.
games, and they've won two of them.
Yeah.
Like that's that is horrendous.
I know it's not good, but
Or
like if
no,
there's any
sorry, they played in 18 because that
18,
math wouldn't work out.
yeah, right, right.
And they've won two of
Yeah,
them, and not even in the same series. You
it's
know,
embarrassing. Like yeah, like
but that's
it's so
why,
funny too. Like because they literally like powered through like all the other teams before that. Like you know what I mean. Like last year, for example, like Devils 4-1, Caps 4-1, Panthers lose 4-1, and I was like, and I think they got blown out in all of them too, if I'm not
but that,
mistaken,
but
or you know.
but that's why I
So
have
just
such
like
a hard time believing in Carolina because you've been here before and you've melted like
yeah,
ice
they
cream.
haven't. It's so embarrassing. Like I mean, like what are they like
Yeah,
doing? It's like the Sixers in the second round, basically, like kind of same thing. Like 4-0 in the first round because they play like the Nets or like some easy team or whatever,
yeah,
and then it's like second round. Oh, Boston Celtics lose 4-2, lose 4-3. You know what I mean? James Harden like lays an egg in Game 7 after having 51 Game 6. And I'm just like, this team is like ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like this is why like I hope it changes this year because it's just been like too much of the same movie like for anyone to take them like seriously, you know what I mean? Like but yeah, we'll see if they do. But anyway, Flyers Canes, yeah, we'll see. I mean, this should be a good series. I don't think you're like entirely wrong about because the Flyers are coming in with house money, they're coming in with momentum, like they're gonna be coming in feeling good. Like, they just gotta set the tone. Um yeah, and then we'll see where it goes. But anyway, I mean besides that series, oh my god.
yeah. But
Where else are we? I guess you're taking the lead on this one, so we'll go in your order.
yeah, so we're gonna save the best series for last,
All right.
and we're gonna go head over to the West. Um, First of all, Avalanche, you did what you had to do. You took care of the
There we
Kings.
go.
Nothing really else to say there. Goodbye. Goodbye, team that should never have been here. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, Oilers.
Oh goodness.
What happened?
That's so funny. That's like the most hilarious outcome. Like the Ducks. Like I mean, like really? Like
You lost to you lost to a team that was literally owned by Mickey Mouse at one point.
yeah,
You lost to a
yeah.
team that was literally owned by Mickey Mouse. Like,
Right.
what do we do? That was named after a Disney show. Like, what are we doing here? You know?
That's ridiculous.
Um,
Yeah.
not to just like make fun of Anaheim and their name.
Right. The
Man, did
Mighty Ducks. Yeah.
they beat Edmonton at their own game. You
Yeah.
know? Because look, Edmonton loves these high
These high
flying
scoring. Yeah.
shootout type.
Yeah. I love
Well,
some.
Anaheim cracked their knuckles and said, if that's how you want to play this, we'll do it to you because
Yeah.
Anaheim in their 4 wins over Edmonton has scored a combined, let's do the math real quick, has scored a combined 22 points
Wow.
in their 4 wins over Edmonton. So you divide 22 by 4 and you get what? Somewhere around like 5.5 ish, you know?
Right.
22 by 4, you get 5.5. Just doing quick math in my head around
Right.
there. 5.5 goals per game. Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a lot.
like just like wow, you know?
Yeah, that's a bit
And
much.
they were only held to one goal once. and they were only held under 3 goals a game once.
Mm.
So, you know, take from that what you will, but man, Edmonton got roped at their own game. I'm sure
Yeah.
if you told an Edmonton fan that this is going to be a fast, high-flying series with a lot of goals scored before the playoffs happened, they would have been like, "Oh, so we're going to win in
In
6
4 games.
games."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And
Right, because
man,
that's the way the Oilers like play. Like I mean, like we you know what I
that's
mean?
why I'm saying they beat them at their own game, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, take the floor if you had something to say.
Oh no, I mean like I think that's pretty much it. Like I mean, I feel like yeah, we're used to like Edmonton winning these types of really high scoring games, and stuff like that in the playoffs in the Western Conference, especially, you know what I mean? Anytime it's been like that, like they've won it. The goaltending has been like, sometimes bad, sometimes like really bad on both sides. And the goal
The
scoring
goaltending
is
has always been average to extremely suspect, like in
yeah,
that area.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean like yeah, I mean pretty much just that. But like yeah, the goaltending has always been like a weird problem. Like I mean like like what's you know what I mean? Like then Skinner got good, like like in the playoffs, which is like
I
also
bet you they're missing Stuart Skinner right
right
now.
now. Yeah, you know what I mean? It was so funny because Oilers fans were like, he would have been even worse. And like I was like, yeah, maybe, like you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
no, but Stuart
nah,
Skinner
definitely not.
would have unlocked his playoff mode. Stuart Skinner is the Eli Manning of the is the
Literally.
is the Eli Manning of the NHL, where he'll look okay to somewhat suspect during the regular season, but when it's playoff time, he locks in.
Yeah, he locks in. That's right.
I'm
But
not
that's
saying
just
that Eli looked suspect, but you know what I'm
right.
saying.
Yeah, yeah. He's like an average, you know what I mean? That's his Hall of Fame. He's like an average, above average quarterback, regular season. And then he's had these two like playoff runs where he looks like, like better than Tom Brady, you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah,
best ever. So, you know what I mean? Like
literally better than Tom Brady.
literally, because he beat him like twice. So like, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's just like, how do you do that? Like, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, the rest of it, like, very, still a really good career, obviously. Good stats, good accolades, nothing crazy. Also played against a lot of good competition,
Oh yeah.
durability. I mean, he was still like a very, very, very good quarterback, but he just wasn't like elite, except for like those two runs. But yeah, I mean, anyway, in terms of the Oilers though, like it's just so disappointing. Like I mean, this year to like play like this. I mean, in like a kind of a weaker Western Conference, and you know what I mean. Like after you went to the Stanley Cup Finals twice, you lose to Florida twice, but still, like you know what I mean. Like you're thinking like, okay, this could be a year where they take the next step. You know what I mean? And not only
Mc-
did they not do that, they went like 15 steps backwards and lose in the first round to Anaheim. Are you kidding me? It's just like Connor McDavid's legacy is what now? You know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, first of all, you can't pin this on McDavid or Drysaitel, but
fair.
look, and to both of them, McDavid, Drysaitel, if you somehow catch wind of this podcast and somehow it gets shared in front of you, go to a real team, because think about it. The only reason why the Oilers stumbled into McDavid and into Drysaitel was because they suck.
Yeah,
Because they sucked from a GM perspective, right?
right,
From a
right.
team perspective, from a GM perspective, they can't find a way to build around the two biggest stars
In
that
hockey,
single-handedly
literally.
basically carried them to two Stanley Cup finals, and the Oilers can't find a way to build around them.
I
Even if they
know.
do have like anchor contracts, but you can't find some value in the teammates around them, give me a
Yeah,
freaking
yeah.
break.
I
You know?
know. Yeah, I mean,
Like
just yeah, exactly. I mean, they've
you
had like
have
yeah,
God, it's like if you have, or it's like the Nets. This is like the Nets.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
this is the Nets when they built the super team,
And
but they
then
couldn't find any value to fill out the rest of the
the
roster. It's like,
roster. It's just like yeah, Katie Hart and Kyrie. That's why it failed because like when those guys got injured, like they had like nothing to support it. Like
yeah,
like they had Joe Harris like missing a bunch of threes in overtime or something like that in Game 7. You remember that? Oh, I
God,
I don't know. I love Joe Harris still. Like
oh,
That was just
That was
brutal.
tough to watch.
That
You know
was
what?
tough.
I actually liked him like as like a just a
Me
player.
too.
He also seemed like a good guy,
He
just like
does. Yeah, yeah. Everybody
you
liked
know.
him, but that was just rough.
But it
Like,
was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, you know.
yeah, because like it's like it's just
Not
like
to
yeah, it sucks. But
Yeah, I was gonna say
anyway,
not to interrupt our basketball talk, but you want to talk about really embarrassing? Dallas.
the
What the
Cowboys
No, the
or
Stars.
oh
Dallas. What
okay.
happened? Like
Yeah, that's I know, like, you had them as your cup champs, like, this was supposed to be the big year for them too, like, and yeah, the
it
Wild,
also it
um
pisses me off because Dallas had them by the throat, you know?
yeah, the way
They're
they
like
started the series, like, I mean, like,
2
to
to
the way
2
it
to
ended.
1, and then they just let them. They just decided not to play hockey anymore in the final
Yeah,
2 games, like,
yeah. I mean,
oh,
the Wild set the tone, I guess, with the 6-1 win, but yeah, then the Stars took over, like, they won
yeah,
4-2, they won 4-3 in
and
double
they grinded
overtime,
out
and
an
that
ugly
was
win in
over.
overtime as well,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
exactly, they got momentum, and then the
And
Wild flipped it
I
on
would
them in
argue that
overtime.
overtime wins are more, beneficial to a team in a 7-game series
Right.
than a blowout win.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree because there's just something different about, like, those sudden death playoff that's just why people love playoff hockey so much and why like, they'll people swear it's, like, the best thing in the world because it kinda is, like, when 2 teams are just there and there's no shootout and it's just, like, next goal wins, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, like, beauty, like, it's, like that's, like, peak sports, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
really awesome like, if you've ever, like, just, like, watched a game like that and it goes to over in the cup playoffs, like, you'll know what I'm talking about, like, "Oh, man, is it good?" Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, you're also right. Like if you can win a game like that, that's like huge confidence booster. It's not like, oh, we won because we're up the
absolutely.
whole time. It's we won because we were the better team. We were the more physical team. We were the more determined team. You know what I mean? Like all those types of things like
Yeah,
come through. But then it could flip the other way. So like, like we saw in the next overtime. But yeah, I mean, and by the end of the series, like the Wild was like clearly in control and it was a good night for Minnesota that night because they beat Dallas in hockey and they beat that was the same day they won against Denver in basketball too. So like both
that
those
was the
games.
same day?
It was. I saw that on Instagram.
Honestly, I'm rooting for Minnesota. They don't win enough over there, you know?
Yeah, because now, but the funnier thing is now the Wolves are going to Texas to play San Antonio, and the Wild are going to Denver to play the Avalanche too. Like, complete like flip
I wonder if they're
on
passing each other on the bus.
the yeah, like on the planes or something like
Yeah,
that.
but,
That is so funny.
um
Yeah.
just in the interest of keeping things moving, this podcast has
Mhm.
already run pretty long.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Vegas, the Vegas Mammoth series is just the proof in the pudding of what overtime experience like
Yeah.
does to benefit you. You know, I mean not
Yeah,
overtime, playoff experience does to benefit you.
the 2 overtime wins by Vegas over the Mammoth were, like, kinda what
Disheartening,
yeah,
makes me want to
definitely.
throw up, but
Yeah,
you know,
unfortunate.
kudos to Vegas, you know. I hate saying that.
Yeah, well, also, yeah, like you said, experience. I mean, how many times has Vegas been in the playoffs, won you know what I mean? They won the cup. Even their first year, they were the team that but after all of the runs they've had since, they've kind of become like, a Western contender every year. You know what I mean? The Mammoth are literally like first season, right, this year. So, like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, hats off to the Mammoth. They didn't like lay down and die, you know.
yeah,
They
game
pushed
6
Vegas to
was
their
bad.
brink.
I
They
get
pushed
yeah,
Vegas to
because I
their
mean, they
brink.
had a 2-1 lead, and then, like, looking at these 4 and 5 I mean, if those go the other way, like, that's the series right there, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
You
that's
know?
the crazy part about it, but, like, yeah,
But
Utah,
it's
yeah, I
tough,
mean,
tough.
it's too bad on that, and, Utah seems like a good place for hockey, like, it's cold weather and all
Oh
that stuff,
yeah.
like, I mean, yeah.
Hockey's going to do well in Utah.
The slopes
This
and
just proves
everything,
it to
like,
me.
a lot of the Winter Olympians, like, they even in, like, skiing, those other sports are from, like, that part of the country, obviously, Colorado too, so, yeah, I mean, speaking of, like, the Avalanche and well, we already talked about that one, but, like, is it
Let's
time to
talk
talk
about
about the best
the
series
best
of this round?
series.
There you go.
You know, if you want to talk like play the serious play the serious intro for the Chicago Bulls
Da-na-na-na.
because
Oh,
you know,
or, like,
my God, do we
yeah.
have two
Oh, yeah, like the yeah.
yeah. Do we have some absolute cinema to talk about right now? Montreal and Tampa Bay. First of all, none of the games have been decided by more than one goal. None of them.
Yeah.
Even the ones that didn't go to overtime have not been decided by more than one goal. But 4 of the games have gone to overtime. 4 of the 6 games have gone into overtime.
Mhm.
Um, man, the home crowd does not seem to be a factor with both teams taking more games at their opponent than they did in their own building, you know? So the
Yeah.
home crowd is definitely not a factor apparently.
Right.
Even though Tampa Bay has a sneaky good crowd, but Montreal definitely has a rowdy bunch. Um, but
Right.
man,
Oh, yeah.
what else can
I
you
know
say?
the crowd in Montreal has just been, like, something else, honestly, and this series has just been something else from the beginning too. I mean, like, just all the games, like, every single one almost, like, went to overtime, I feel like, and, it just, like, it flipped on, like, yeah, Montreal won, then Tampa, and then same thing, like, Montreal won 2-1, and then went up
Yeah,
2-1 or 3-2, they went up 2-1, then Tampa won again, this one in regulation 3-2, and then a Montreal regulation win 3-2 in 5 in Tampa Bay, and then now Tampa gets one in Montreal, 1-0 in overtime. Yeah, I was kinda hoping the Canadians put them away right there, but now we're going to 7
this is
in
like
Tampa, and it's just like another one-goal game to I mean,
this is
expect,
like a
I guess.
ping pong match essentially.
Yeah, kinda,
Like
yeah.
this is a ping pong match of one score games because both teams are so evenly matched that they're just volleying after and after and after on another, you know? Like
Yeah,
cinema. You cannot ask for a better playoff series than this one. And if you are a Canadian or Tampa Bay Lightning fan, you might want to have yourself checked out for heart problems after the series concludes because, you know, don't need anybody going into cardiac arrest because of the result of a hockey series. But to be honest with you, if my team was in 4 overtime games in a 7-game series, I would probably be checking myself into a hospital for some sort of heart condition as
oh
well.
my god. Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
probably because I mean, imagine every single one of these games going to overtime, like, you know, yeah, yeah, I mean, that's just it's just nuts, it's just like, it's pretty nuts, but, like, yeah,
There's
I don't
nothing
even
else
know
to
what to
say.
say, like, I don't know which way this is gonna go, like, it could go either way, it's kind of been like a pattern, like, it's like, what you know what I mean? But I don't yeah, I don't know,
Do
like,
we
it could
trust game 7 Vasilevsky? That's the big argument because
uh,
Vasilevsky always had that ability in game 7 to just absolutely lock down, you know. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, like other teams that,
Yeah.
yeah. Right, yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, and again, like, I feel like you're speaking from personal experience with the Islanders again, but,
Oh,
like, I mean, other
all right, be
teams too.
quiet. Like
I don't
what?
know why I have to go there, but it's just, like, it's not like I'm just thinking, like, when you say that, like, you're thinking of that of against, like, you know what I mean? It's probably
Well, not
coming
even
against
just against,
Montreal.
the Islanders, but they also did it against the Rangers as well
They
in
did
that
it
one
against the
series.
Rangers too,
Vasilevsky
yeah.
absolutely just locked them down after
Yeah, 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 but
the Rangers went
this
up, like, 2-0, and then Vasilevsky, like, locked in and just
yeah.
bolted
I
down.
remember that Rangers series too, yeah, that was an interesting one, but, like,
Yeah. That's the only reason why I'm gonna take Tampa Bay. I mean,
fair.
it could go
In
either
game
way,
7. It could
but
go either way.
with that X factor, and hopefully he can unlock that X factor if you're a Tampa Bay fan, I have no reason to believe that Tampa Bay can't, like I said, lock them down,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Right.
know?
Right, right. Yeah. No, yeah, I
Because
mean,
you know what
I
I'm
think so
talking about,
too.
right? Where he just had that absolute ability to just bolt
She'll
down.
put the wall on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, like, 100% remember, but, like, I know what you're talking about. But, like, yeah, I mean,
He
Montreal
he
yeah,
has, like,
I'm just, like,
some.
looking through these games, like, one by one. It's just, like, they've all been close, they've all went to overtime, and they kept switching, like, I guess if we're going on a pure pattern-based read, like, I don't know, it's like Montreal, Tampa, Montreal. That's, like, a really bad way to predict things, but, like, Tampa Bay. It's like that's what you do. It's like, like when like people like sports because of like jerseys and stuff like that. It's like, random stuff like that. It's like, oh, they're like he looks cute, or like the jersey, the colors look nice. Like, yeah, like don't do that. But like, I mean, for the sake of that,
All
it's
right,
like,
but like, think
then,
about
yeah,
that. Like, doesn't having like your team repping like an aesthetically pleasing jersey just so much better?
it is
Because
nice. Yeah, don't get
you
me
remember when
wrong.
the Giants had those like really ugly red and blue jerseys?
Oh, gross. Like I never wanted to see them in those things. Like, I mean, but
You
like,
know
I
what
guess.
jerseys I'm talking about, right? The one with
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Oh,
like
those are disgusting. Like, yeah, forget that. But I mean, I like the color rush, the blue jerseys with the pot, like the retro ones. Those are like clean. Like, oh,
do you
honestly,
remember the mustard Jacksonville Jaguars jerseys?
ugh, yeah,
Or the
yeah,
or the alternate Pittsburgh Steelers jerseys where they look like bumblebees?
yeah. Or
It's
like,
it's
I know it's
it's so
ridiculous.
much better for your team to have an aesthetically pleasing jersey than
It is.
not.
But the problem with the pattern based approach in this series is, well, first of all, it probably doesn't mean anything, and second of all, the pattern kind of flipped like mid series when, like, it was Montreal, Tampa, and then Montreal. Oh, wait, did it? It didn't flip, right?
No,
Or,
the
no,
pattern is still there.
oh, great. So then, like, okay, so then now, if you want to go with that, then you just take the Canadians, I guess, because it's, to complete this cycle. But I don't
That's
know.
Arnav's betting advice for everybody listening.
Hey,
That's Arnav's.
we've all kind of like done like silly thing. Well, maybe not. You know what I mean? I took the Sixers for like because it felt right, and like that's actually was reasonable pick. I feel like because momentum. It's not just like a heart or a gut pick. You already picked the Flyers, and then now I'm just gonna like just take the Canadians full send on this
Arnav
one.
wants
But
you to go out and bet your hard-earned cash
I should
based on
put
the
like, yeah, I should actually put some money on this game. Like, I don't know, nah, but it's hard to tell because it could go like that. I mean, they've all been overtime. Imagine this game's like a blowout or something. Like it's like a 5-0. That would be the funniest thing. Like the ultimate pattern break if it's like a 5-0, like win by like either team or something. You're just like, where the heck was this all series? It's almost like the opposite of like Wolves versus Nuggets, where every game was like a blowout, like but the other direction. It was like one time the Wolves won by 50, and then the next time the Nuggets won. I was like, what, by 30, and I was like, what is going on? And then Game 7, they finally had a close game, and I think the Nuggets won it or something like that. That year, or maybe the Wolves did. I think the Wolves actually won that one in 7, and that was like a 10-point win. I was like, they finally played a real basketball game that was like competitive. Like, where the heck? But this is like the opposite. But I don't know. I'm sure it'll be a close game. This has definitely been the best series of the first round. Yeah, I mean, anyway, wow. I guess that kind of brings this whole thing to like a close, I guess, unless you wanted to talk about baseball, how good the Yankees have been because they've been like on a roll, like
I
again
mean,
for this
I
week.
would, but we're way over time, and I have
Yeah,
to
we
sleep.
definitely are over time. So yeah, I mean, I guess all we need to know is that they're definitely like they're on fire. They're 21-11, 8, 8-2 in their last 10.
Everybody kneel
It's
before the
good.
evil empire. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the Yankees are back. So, you know what I mean? They might not win every game, but I mean they've looked really good. So like I'm very happy about that. But yeah, we are like way over time. The show's only supposed to go like an hour, but like it's we always go above. We're almost at an hour and a half, but this is kind of more like the NBA NHL playoff, first round special, and there definitely was like a lot to talk about. So I'm glad we got through all of it. But in the meantime, I mean, enjoy the weekend of sports. A lot of good game sevens, especially in basketball and one in hockey too. And yeah, well, I guess talk to you next week. I mean, next week the second round series are going to start across both of these sports, and we should have a lot more good stuff to talk about. But in the meantime, this has been another episode of Sports Vibe. I'm your host, Arnav Sarkar, here with Andrew Rice, and as always, the vibes are always high on Sports Vibe.